All right, so hello, I'm Maggie. I'm the Senior PM of Data Services at SpotHero. And today I want to talk to you guys about our journey around data discoverability and specifically looking into DataHub as a data catalog solution. So I'll give you a super quick overview of our team. We'll talk about what data discovery looks like at SpotHero now, how we've evaluated some data catalogs, and then some details into how we've begun integrating with DataHub. So super high level, SpotHero has 3 different data focused teams. Across those, we have 5 data or software engineers, 3 data scientists, and 3 business analysts. So really, it's just to get the point across. It's a relatively small team with a lot of kind of areas to focus and support. So earlier this year, I wanted to understand what does data discovery look like at SpotHero? How effective are people able to track down the data they need, understand what it represents, et cetera? So I sent out a survey to the whole company. And what we found first and foremost is that data lineage is difficult. That was the largest pain point. So understanding how data moves between systems, how it's transformed, how it's then presented in either dashboards or included in data science models. So it's difficult to track down, and also it actually leads to folks making kind of subpar engineering decisions because they don't understand what the downstream implications will be. So they kind of design around it. Second, what we found is that it's just difficult to understand what data we have or what it represents. There's a very heavy reliance on tribal knowledge. And then in terms of confidence of data accuracy, once people found the data they needed, they're relatively confident in its accuracy or relevance, but it's definitely something that we can improve upon. So really I wanted to understand if a data catalog can start to address some of these pain points. So we ran an evaluation of data catalog tools, both open source and some SaaS solutions. And I'll just kind of highlight, we went through, we compared DataHub, Edmundson and Marquez, and I'll explain in a moment why I'm grouping those together, Apache Atlas, and then the main SaaS solution was Elation. And then in terms of what we're evaluating, we're looking at ease of integration. Keep in mind, we only have a handful of engineers, so we just can't dedicate a whole team to just this. Does it support Lineage? So is it going to help solve some of those Lineage pain points? How configurable is it specifically to address our data stack? And then of course, is it affordable? So looking at ease of integration, we actually found that Edmundson was the easiest to spin up. But then when we started looking at Lineage support, DataHub really took the cake on this one. And Edmundson, first of all, Edmundson does not have Lineage support, or at least it didn't when we were evaluating the tool. Maybe it's evolved since then. And we looked at Marquez as an option to pass through to provide that Lineage support, but it actually fell over with the most kind of basic of our Lineage needs, so it just was out of the question. From a configurability standpoint, we had the most flexibility with DataHub, and then of course from an affordability standpoint, open source is free, that's great. We didn't have enough information or compelling evidence that we absolutely need a data catalog, so we couldn't justify the SaaS cost there. So we decided to go with DataHub. There's a lot going on here, but really what I want you guys to see is SpotHero has a pretty modern and common data stack. So we have a bunch of sources of data that we ingest using tools like Fivetran or Segment. Our storage layer or our kind of data lake layer is in Redshift or S3 Parquet, so we're an AWS shop there. We use Airflow as our job orchestration, so our ETL is run with SQL-based jobs, Python-based jobs, and Spark jobs. And then last but not least, our visualization or kind of reporting layer is Looker. So relatively common data stack, particularly for smaller or kind of newer companies using some of these off-the-shelf solutions. So we want to use DataHub to store metadata for all of these different components, right? This is a lot to navigate, so we want to make it easy for folks to just even understand how to start digging in. So far we've integrated DataHub with our core warehousing layers, so Redshift and S3, and our SQL-based ETL jobs, and really just with the 3 of these, it encompasses the vast majority of the data lineage components that we're looking to solve for. So great progress right off the bat. And then in Q4, what we're working towards is pushing it one step further upstream. So capturing data within our Kafka topics, capturing metadata within our Kafka topics, and then pushing it one step further downstream to understand the lineage of what's actually presented within our visualization or a dashboard layer. So that's Looker. So, with an open source tool, yes, it's free, but there's always cost associated with that, right? So wanted to give you guys a sense of how much effort has really been involved here, or kind of, engineering effort. So just in evaluating and researching the tools earlier this year, we spent about 180 engineering hours. This was building out our Pew matrix to kind of force rank our evaluation of functionality, and then also running a rapid side-by-side POC of DataHub and Munson Marquez, just to understand, like, within a sprint, how far can we get and which is most promising. So about 180 hours for us to land on using DataHub. The initial rollout, so what I showed you of capturing metadata for our data lake and our SQL-based transformations was about 300 hours. This was also getting all of the initial infrastructure stood up, so terraforming, Elasticsearch, MySQL, Neo4j, and Avon. And then, so that got our data lake scrapers and our ETL ownership enrichment up and running. And then later this quarter, we're estimating about 160 hours of engineering effort to begin scraping and ingesting that Looker and Kafka metadata ingestion. This is also something we're teaming up with the DataHub team to both contribute the LookML scraper back into the code base so we can share that with the community, but also just kind of helping specify what those requirements are for Lineage, specifically for dashboards. So I want to give you just some kind of snapshots into what the DataHub UI looks like. One thing, so this is our instance, and if I'm searching for data sets that are related to Braze, so Braze is our third-party marketing tool. Right off the bat, you can see that I can start to filter that by the origin or owners or platform of the data set. The other thing that is really powerful for us, since we have a split data lake, is that I can search across platforms. I don't have to be like embedded or logged into each platform to extract that information. And then once you start looking at a data set, what we currently support is, so this is a data set called PG Facts. We are passing in some plain English information so people can just kind of understand what is this data for, what's it used for. We're also attaching some ownership so I can see who owns this. So if I have questions, I know who to reach out to. We are out of the gate. There's the DDL, so the column structure, the data type structure, and then we started passing in links to our external docs from DataHub. So we can, if I have a question about, well, how is PG Facts created, I can quickly jump over to the docs and I have a link out to the GitHub code that builds it, so I can start digging in there. And then the coup de grace, the thing that I'm most excited about, is the lineage, of course. And this is where, so again, with this current data set, this is PG Facts. This is our central node here. We can start to kind of explore out these different levels of dependency, either upstream and downstream, to really understand all of the interdependencies, all of the interconnectedness, and really start to help with this impact analysis. This is something I'm super passionate about. I think that, you can have all the data in the world, but if you don't know how to find it and if you don't know what it means, it's not going to do much good. So I'm always excited to talk more about this stuff. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Again, my name is Maggie Hayes, and thank you for your time.